how my optimism helps me overcome obstacles. Thomas Edison, one of the most famous inventors of all time, was the man behind the great invention of the light bulb. He is not only famous for becoming a great inventor, but also for becoming one of the most optimistic people of all times. His success was not a result of quick and immediate thoughts, but instead a result of patience and persistence. He attempted a variety of times to bring life to his new invention, while people doubted him and criticized him every single time he failed to succeed. There was a particular time where a man came up to him and told him to give up because of the many times he failed. But his response wasn't made him such an optimistic person. He responded to the criticism with the words, "I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work." In the midst of his failures, Edison kept an optimistic attitude, affecting his perspective in a positive way, causing him to never give up. When you think in an optimistic way, you're able to see the bright side of things. An optimistic attitude hopes for the best. It makes you believe that everything will turn out for the best. Optimism only allows positive perspective in the situation to stand out, and erases any negative aspects from your mind. In order to overcome your obstacles, you must have an optimistic attitude. Once you think positively, you act positively. And like Edison went through his optimistic moment, so did I. And it all started in a cold, windy soccer stake-up game. Once the ref blew the whistle to begin the game, every member on my team was falling asleep on the field. Next thing you know it, the opposing team scored a goal. Then a second one. After those two goals, every teammate's chin was down and was acting pessimistic. It was double for halftime, which my team had been dreading for. And every word that came out from their mouth was nothing positive but pessimistic. They complained how magnificent the other team was playing, that there was no possible way to beat them. The only thing was I knew I could change that situation, but I also knew such a negative way of thinking would hurt our performance. So this is when I stood up and told my teammates to stop thinking so negatively. And that if we had a positive outlook and believed in ourselves, we could be able to win the game. I added that if they can score 2 goals in one half, we can score 2 or possibly more goals in the second half. Once I said these words, it somehow influenced their looking at the game. And we all looked at each other, believing we could defeat our opponents. It whistled blew for the second half, and it seemed like a whole different team was playing on the field. Instead of complaining and not even being able to make a right pass, we were now doing what we knew what to do. We were passing the ball correctly, communicated with encouraging words, and the whole dynamic of the game changed in the few first minutes. A couple minutes after the half had started, we scored a goal, knowing it was a result of our positive thinking. A few minutes after that, we scored a second goal, having no doubt we would be able to win the game. In the 70 seconds of the final half, we scored a life-saving goal, bringing us in the lead. The final whistle blew, and my team was happier than winning the lottery. Until this day, I still remember that the only reason we won this soccer stake-up game was because of my optimistic attitude, encouraging others to think positively about the game, causing us to defeat our opponents. Being short can be really aggravating, not being able to reach cabinets or get on a roller coaster. It can also be certainly embarrassing when someone asks me how old I am, thinking I will say 7, but then responding with 12. Although I do have this situation, I do think positively about the whole obstacle. Instead of thinking of all the disadvantages of being short, I think of all the advantages. I have noticed that every single time I met someone new, they always have a good attitude towards me due to the fact that I'm short. Somehow, people tend to think that short people are nice and adorable, which I don't understand. The main reason I think optimistic about my life is that I know I'll grow eventually. With my optimistic attitude, being short isn't really an obstacle, knowing I'll grow sooner or later. When everyone's done growing, I'll begin to grow. I know I haven't hit my growth spurt yet, but I'm looking forward to it. And when I do hit it, I know I'll be the same size as everyone and won't have to worry about my height. With my optimistic attitude, I just erase any disadvantages of being short and replace them with the advantages. I can share with you many situations where my positive and optimistic attitude helped me overcome obstacles. Being optimistic is a very simple thing. If something goes wrong, ask yourself, what can I do better? Or how can I do this? Being optimistic helps me do tough and challenging times, while being pessimistic makes it worse than it can get. Optimism sure helped me overcome obstacles. And just remember, pessimistic people see problems, while optimistic people